morning, everybody. My name is Shraddha Ghosh. I'm the founder of Pixel, and we are associated with training US CPA candidates. Today, we're joined with Ketan Patel. He's the guy who was with us for the last 1 year, and he has successfully cleared all 4 sessions of the US CPA exam. I think he cleared it in April. He got his last result in April. Is that correct? And
Yes,
I think his fame to glory is that he completed 4 papers with 1 month at intervals. So your first paper was in December, I think the first paper you cleared. Is that
yes. 18th December, yes.
so December, January, February, and March? We have 4 papers that was cleared by him. And today we are here to talk about his CPA journey. What would he suggest all the US CPA candidates? And so off to you, Ketan. First, I would want you to introduce yourself to our viewers and our listeners. Please let them know who you are, what has been your journey. And so, yes, please tell us something about yourself.
Yes, my name is Ketan Patel and I am basically from and I completed my CA journey there and then I came to Baroda, Gujarat and then I joined SK Industry and I got a lot of experience at SK Industry and I think 6 to 7 times I went to USA and then I came to know that there is a one course which is good enough to give us the international recognition. So I thought about that time and last year I think I connected with ma'am Jan 24 or December 23, I think. So that is all about link with my CPA journey from CA to CPA journey and everything is good for me because I got a right personality, mentor, and the teacher who guided me in such a specific way so that I could achieve my all the targets and timeline.
Before we talk about any further, what was your highest score, Ketan, of all the 4 papers that you cleared?
Yes, 91.
Which was
It
in
was
which
in
paper?
rag.
Oh, so tell us what was your content provider that you were with? And what is the course that you actually signed up for?
Actually, I was using the backer at the
Okay.
initial stages, and we had a group of person, and
Okay.
during that period, I got the reference of, and then I consulted with 3 or 4 old students, and then I came to know that madam is so good, and she is teaching in such a way that we can clear all the paper at once and then I thought that it would be good to talk with ma'am and just to take the guidance and I connected my ma'am and then I got so many things which was very necessary for me to know about the CPA and then I joined the class and you can see that now I am CPA only because of Diksha.
Okay, just for everybody else, our institute has 2 programs. One in which we have a tie-up with UWorld. So in case if students want to join a course from base, we help them with the eligibility and the content provider that we've partnered with is UWorld. But in case if there are students who already have a particular content that they're following, we also provide something called an add-on course. And in that course, we simply take the live training classes. Our classes are paired in such a way that when we cleared CA in India, we did it only conceptually. So we are trying to mimic that platform with CPA. So irrespective of the content provider, our training materials can be paired with any content provider. So Ketan was the student who joined us for the live training classes and he had his own content provider, which was Becker in his case. So he attended all the live training classes for Pixeler for the 4 subjects. So how would you describe your CPA journey with Pixeler? Like how did you prepare? What was your preparation strategy?
I followed the guidance of Diksha and course material. You can check the module. You will find everything in the course module and it is sufficient to clear all the papers. You just need to do the more practice with your content provider. That is sufficient. I think even you go deep in the course material which is provided by the Diksha, that is sufficient because you will find the themes and task-based simulations and the MCQs, and that is sufficient. I don't think that you need to go more deep apart from the Diksha Learn course material. So I think in 1 or 2 cases, I did not refer my original course material, which was from the backer. Just I followed the Diksha Learn course material, and you can see that I got a good marks in all the subjects.
I think you've attended all our live classes, right, Ketan? You've not
Yes, yes, yes,
anything. Okay. So
yes,
after you've attended all the classes, you would just go through the PPTs that were uploaded on the LMS, and you would directly go and solve the MCQs. Is that correct?
yes, yes, yes.
And
Sorry to interrupt you, but in one of the case, just audit subject, I did not prefer the Becker book or any other material from other course provider. Just I followed the Diksha course material and it was sufficient for me.
so you depended on your content providers to do all the MCQs and then solve the Sims live at your end. Is that correct? But
Yes, but I would like to add something that if you see the course material of the Picture, you will find a lot of sims. So you will have the chance to practice in the live classes, and that is more important for you apart from practicing your own self with the other course material or the platform.
that's so good to know. Okay, what was your experience like to sit for the USCPA exams? Like you had CA experience, right? You have cleared CA, and I think you cleared CA all the three in one slot. Is that correct?
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
you had cleared all the three papers. So after the Indian CPA, how different was the US CPA exam for you?
Think it is totally different because you need more conceptual clarity in US CPA paper. You need to have more sense of mind in the exam hall. And if you have this both the things, then you are able to clear US CPA in a very short period of time. When you think about the CA, then you need more practice and you need to have an in-depth knowledge of every subject and you have to write more. And I think I can say that in US CPA, you cannot mug up anything. You need to have the conceptual clarity about everything. You need to have a conceptual clarity. That is sufficient to clear all the papers. That is most important.
So, I mean, what I could understand from you is that as far as the Indian CA papers are concerned, you could do a lot of hard work, which would
Yes,
probably boil down to success in your exam. But for a US CPA, that alone is not enough. You would have to
yes.
apply that knowledge. So, which year did you clear Indian CA?
In 2008.
Yeah, so see, even I cleared around 2006 7. So we would also want to qualify that this was our experience of Indian CA then. I'm not too sure what is the current state, but the biggest difference that even I would agree with how Ketan has described is that see, I have been in this experience of teaching the USCP aspirants for the last 12, 13 years. And the course has dynamically changed. And if you look at the syllabus change that was brought about in the year 2024, so that year the exam has become more conceptual than earlier. And it's not enough that you know the concepts. You need to apply those concepts in real time. That is where the difference between interlinking of topics, understanding how one topic is related to the other, all of these concepts also become very important. So you use the word present in the paper. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? What do you mean by saying you have to be present in the paper?
Yes, yes, yes. You need to have a presence of mind for 4 hours when you sit
Okay,
for your exam.
so I understand what you're saying, but tell me something. How important do you think is time management here? Many people have this discussion that, time is very important. Do you think 4 hours was enough, or how would you be advising your fellow CP aspirants as far as time management is concerned for your CPA?
It is very difficult to give the answer of this question because for me, time was enough every time. So I can say that if you know everything in the exam or if you know the answer of every question, then every time you will have the same. But if you don't have the conceptual clarity and if you don't know the answer, then you go deep in the and try to understand and try to know the answer. So therefore, I am saying just to do the hard work and more practice, you will have the enough and sufficient time in the exam. That is my perception. I don't know I am right or not.
Does that mean you were not actively chasing the clock? Like we had MCQ,
Yes,
we had
yes,
SIMS. So you're saying that we trust the examination setters enough to know that there is time. And also when you say you have conceptual clarity, that means you are aware of what you're looking for in a particular answer. Is that the correct way
Yes,
of saying? So
yes,
if you know
yes,
what you're looking for and if you're very thorough with how you have to apply yourself, then you're saying that don't make time as a big issue. You give whatever time you think is needed. So you were not
yes,
chasing time practically. You were just being
yes.
very cool and calm and present in the paper, and that worked for you.
Yes, and that thing I came to know in the live classes because most of the time, Madam was teaching us that just to focus on the correct line and correct paragraph and try to know more and more thing about that which is relevant for the answer. Do not waste your time in all the things. Just try to extract a relevant point from your question paper and try to answer all the questions.
Okay,
Is the
thank you.
benefit of the live classes, I think so. Because when we solve ourselves on a code, that time we are not able to think more in a more deep way. And when you are in a live classes and we spend time almost 1 hour for the one question, that time we come to know that what is relevant, what is not relevant, and how to approach the question. So therefore it is my sincere recommendation for all the students just to connect yourself with the live classes and the teachers who teach in that way. That is good way to learn or complete your CPA journey as soon as possible.
I totally understand what you're saying now because, frankly speaking, this is something that I have been telling to a lot of my students, and it is so good that you could exactly hit the point, because what we feel is that given no time consideration or no limits for time, everybody would be able to solve most of the things if I just remove the 4 hours time. So what we generally emphasize on is how do you ensure that you are looking for the right thing. So, when you look at MCQs, I still remember you talking to me and telling me that especially in the audit paper, you actually apply that concept of removing out of four two answer choices
Yes,
are
yes,
incorrect, then taking the third one and then negating that and letting the last answer remain, right? So that's
yes,
something
yes.
that takes time for people to get used to and train their mind to, and I'm so happy that that could help you. And same with the Sims, we're trying to convert the MCQ approach to the Sims approach also, where you first understand the concept, understand how to draw the mental map, and then convert the same solving technique to the Sims also. Like, how do we reduce the time of looking at the right data and then approach the Sims in a way that you can understand the ask of the question, understand how do you negate the wrong stuff, and how do you choose the right answer. So I'm so glad that really helped you in your.
And actually that helps in the exam hall.
Yes, that has been my effort, and so good to know that that had helped you. Just on a lighter note, which paper did you feel was the toughest to crack? And how did you look? How did we help you to crack that paper? And what were your strategies? So let's first talk about the most difficult paper, and then we go to the others.
I think for me, audit was the toughest paper
Okay.
because course is so huge and we are not able to. I am personally, I think that it is so huge. Course is so huge, and I was not able to justify myself with the course. And when I connected with you, that was my first subject. I think so. So
Okay.
yes.
Do you
So
have
the
any
class.
formal? No, no. Do you have any for? Sorry to interrupt you there. Do you have any for background with audit? I mean, I'm sure you must be handling auditors at your end, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. Still, I
Okay.
am saying that I was struggling in order, but I would like to say that Diksha Learn's course material is sufficient. And when I read all the course and I went into when I read everything in the course content which was provided by the Diksha Learn, and then I solved every question of all the units and Becker's sims and my MCQs. And that time I thought that now I am okay. But I contacted with them and I got so many references and guidance. And then I thought that now I am having enough knowledge about the audit and this is the right time to sit for the paper, and I got sufficient mark on that paper. But definitely the boundaries is not controllable, I think so, because it is beyond the boundaries. So you can expect anything in the exam hall. So you need to have the conceptual clarity, and you need to have the approachable thought how to proceed with the question. And that I learned from the Diksha learn how to approach with the question, especially in the audit paper, because it was very tough. And madam guided me in such a way that when you sit in your exam, it would help you in such a way that you will be able to clear that paper.
I still
So
remember you calling me after the exam. And this is one feedback that I've got from most of the students that audit, we really don't know how is it going to go about. I mean, reg, people are more or less sure. Bar, again, was a different ball game altogether, especially with I think you took bar as your add-on paper. Is that correct?
yes, ma'am.
So this is the feedback that I've got from a lot of students that audit is the most difficult to clear. But yeah, I also want to add on here that actually nobody can prepare you for audit. Like what we can do is we can give you tools. At the end of the day, you would the paper. This is the only paper that is tested at the evaluation level skills, which means that you're actually in the real audit scenario and they're mimicking the real audit scenario. So we can help you with the concepts and we can help you with the approach, but how best you've been able to grasp those approach, connect the topics with each other, that is the only thing that helps you in the exam. So I remember this is one paper where most students come out of the hall and when I have a word with them, they're like completely lost. I don't know what was the paper and completely
Yes,
about how how they would perform. I'm so glad that you were able to clear it at each of the papers, right? Where or how do you think you would advise the students now? Let's say with the experience that you've already had. See, you cleared the paper one at a time over the last 4 months, but you were preparing with us for around a year, right? So, Jan,
yes.
only you started your journey with me. And then by April next, you were able to complete the paper, right? My question to you is, let's say now if I ask you that for all the students who are going to write their papers henceforth, tell me some key differentiators that you would suggest, like first for reg. Like if I talk about the regulation paper, what advice would you give to the students for reg?
Just would like to say that first, everyone should go for the forms. That is very important. ITR forms. That is very important because everything is based on that. So first, you need to know that what is my conclusion. So conclusion is forms. So first, you need to know that where and what we need to put and from where we need to put. So first you need to have the knowledge of all the forms, and just you need to connect that all the things with your study and material or the course. So it will help you in a great way to clear
Okay,
your
so
track paper.
if I'm hearing you properly, and this is something that we've suggested to all our students, many of them have followed it. But what you're essentially saying is be guided by the form. So actually, you took a hard copy of your 1040s and 1120,
Yes.
and then you were ensuring how the sub schedules were all matching to the main schedule. So that became your beacon. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I did the same thing with the audit paper as well. First, I collected all the report and I read again and again, and that was suggested by you
Yes. Yes.
just to prepare for the reports, and you should know each and every words of the reports. Then you will be able to clear all the audit questions in the exam.
So I remember the way we teach it at Pixel, the way we have scheduled our classes. Even now, when we've started with FAR, we actually start with the real 10Ks of, let's say, Tesla or Coca-Cola. And then these we continue with the audit also. So let's say for audit, as you're saying, at first go, we'll give you the same financials for FAR. And then we'll use the same financials and we'll talk about the audit aspects of it. For reg, we are going to talk about the forms. And I'm so glad that you followed everything that we had suggested
Yes,
work for you. But see, essentially, what we're trying to do is we're trying to connect you with the outcome of everything that you're doing. And if you're able to do that, then no longer is it dependent on the content provider. It is more a function of how you've understood the concept and how have you been
yes,
able to pair it with the ultimate outcome. Because then you have a visibility of
yes.
how everything is related to the outcome and how you're supposed to be showing it. Okay, yeah,
Yes,
that
yes,
really makes a lot of sense. So for audit, you started with the actual audit reports with the standard form,
yes,
and then when you were doing the audit, did you have the visibility of how they are being connected to the main report? Were you having that visibility?
yes,
Okay. Yeah, that's actually a very good approach. A lot of students miss out because when they look at the concepts, they're still looking at the concepts in silos, which may be really good, but if they're not able to correlate, that becomes an issue in the main exam, right? So yes, I think that, and I think you should have been able to understand the delta in your preparation also, right?
yes. I would say that an audit paper, and most of the question were based on the reports, whether it was MCQs or the Cs. So really, it helped me a lot, and
Hmm.
I am fortunate that we have a faculty like you. You guided in such a way that I am able to clear all the paper.
I'm
So
so
that
glad
is
to
most.
help you. This is for our listeners, by the way. Ketan has been a very hardworking student. He was prepared for every class. Like he sat, we had those what, probably every session that we had, let's say audit, we took around 30 sessions. Probably for all the four subjects that we have 30 sessions on an average per topic. But he was prepared like every time, whatever we had expected of our students, like coming to the class, showing up, following it up at their end. So he's one of the most hardworking students that I have come across in my career. And the best part was when you have students like him and not many others who are all preparing to write their papers in 3.5 months intervals. So we generally plan our studies in such a way that once you join the live class, we are trying to make sure that you're sitting for the paper within the next 3.5 months of joining the classes. I feel you were one of those ideal students who would listen to everything that is being spoken to you. You would probably go two steps ahead than what we are expecting of you. And you did the revision exactly the way we suggested. You took the mock exams, you took the demo exams. You would probably be the how did you manage your work along with studies and your family support? Like how would you suggest any other person who's now probably dreading to do CPA to manage his time and his other life aspects along with CPA? Do you think there was a issue there?
I no, I don't think that. I would say that we need to have a discipline. If you
Okay.
have a discipline, then you can achieve everything. So I just follow the discipline, and then I followed the guidance provided by the alum, and I did hard work. And my family is also very, that's why I am able to clear all the. If you do the hard work, and if you plan everything in advance, and if you follow each and everything from your mind, so then you will achieve your goal in a short span of time. I don't think that anything can block you in your journey. Just to keep your approach like that, I need to have, or I need to sit in the exam in next 1 month or 2 months, just to avoid the suspension of your classes or the exams. Just do not think that I would give my exam after 2 months, 3 months. Just to plan in advance everything and make your approach, make your mind that you are going to appear in the exam in next 1 or 2 months, and plan your study and do everything whatever need for your exam.
I do vouch for it that you're a very disciplined student, as I've observed you for the last year or so. So, but how many hours you were clocking? Just to give you an idea, because there's so many students who, when join us, they ask me these questions like, how many hours do we need to study? So, if like
Yes.
today, if I ask you, what time do you think you should ideally be targeting completing your CPA, assuming you are also carrying your work full time, what would be the tenure? Like, how many months are you going to advise them? And what was your typical study routine like? We promote a lot weekly schedule. So in a week, how many hours were you clocking? And how were you planning to schedule your exams? Like what would you suggest the fellow US CPA aspirants about planning their schedule and planning their time for studies?
Yes, I would say that I used to get up early in the morning, almost a.m. And 10 a.m. I used to start my study and till 10 a.m. After that, just daily routines, work and everything. So
Mhm.
in the weekends, I used to study 10 hours. That
Each
was
day,
sufficient
each
for me.
Saturday and Sunday, each day you used to study for 10 hours or over the weekend?
Yeah, over the weekend.
Yeah. So we're basically looking at 3 into 5, 15, and then 10, 25 hours in a week. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, ma'am. If
And
you want to clear as soon as possible, then this is the best approach, I think. I think so because you need to have connection in every day. You need to keep your mind
consistent.
clock,
Yes, consistent.
clocking
Okay.
that you are going to appear in the exam and your focus is exam hall or the papers. Because when you dream everything, then only you can achieve your target. So when I was preparing, every day I was thinking that I am going to appear in the exam and I need to have a clarity on this subject and that subject. I need to complete this chapter in this week or like that. So,
Yeah, so see, I agree to what you're saying. We generally believe that there are three C's that you need to have to clear your CPA paper in time. So when I say in time, we're targeting at 3.5, 4 months per paper. So on an average, when we plan around 12 months. And after every 1.5, 2 months time, yes, we advise the students to book their NTS because I feel if you don't have the date frozen, you don't get into that examination mode, right?
yes, yes.
So in the first time when you spoke about, you actually talk about coverage. When you said you did not leave anything, because that's what we really aim at, that you should be able to cover everything. You cannot leave anything. The second thing was the conceptual clarity, which we also spoke about, how you're linking everything to the main material and not just the study material that's being provided to you, but let's say the forms and the actual audit reports and the actual financials. The third thing, and I think that is the most important, is consistency. How are you being consistently studying? And you're studying with the objective of sitting for your papers within 3.5 months' time of starting a particular section. So you did like one paper at a time, or you did that? You studied for one paper, sat for the exam, moved to the next?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
One more question I have, which is considering that you've studied everything and you have 100% coverage, conceptual clarity, you were consistent. But then also, how important do you think is the attitude, the EQ part in the paper? Like, because that is something that generally people miss out on. And we very strongly believe that that's equally important, like 50-50 of your preparation and your attitude. Do you agree? And what is your take on it?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely, attitude is very important because if you study everything, then it gives you the confidence, and that confidence is very important in the exam hall.
Yes.
Because if you know everything but you don't have the confidence how to deal with the situation, because definitely you will get 5 to 10% questions from the different sides, so you will not be able to answer that. So that time you need to have the confidence to solve that problem, and you need to recall the basic things. And if you are able to solve that 10% questions in a great way, and then you will be able to justify with your papers.
Okay, yeah, I also believe that every content provider, or even we as trainers or as mentors, we can play a particular role. And that role is, when we say common sense, a lot of people say, I'm out of the examination hall and they come and tell me that, a lot of topics came which we've never heard of. But then when we started applying those common sensical approach step by step, that really helped them solve the problem. So I totally believe in what you're saying, that at the end of the day, some of the questions would always be out of your comfort zone, things that you've never heard of. But at the same time, they would somewhere or the other, relate to the code that you've studied. And at that
Yes.
time, you need to be very calm and present in the paper so that you can approach it without losing your coolness. Okay, so
Yes,
yes, I
when you see the question first time, you would think that it is out of syllabus, but you need to recall all the basic thing, and then you would think that yes, I know the answer of this question because somewhere you have heard something about that question, and you need to link with your study that question, and you have to approach in that way. If you don't panic that time, then you will get the success in the exam.
okay.
So you need to have the conceptual clarity and focus on that 4 hours, and just to keep your mind open and deal with every situation. Just it is a life. You have to deal with every situation. In the exam hall also you have to deal with every situation. So
Okay.
don't panic.
This was a nice thing, but apart from that, if I ask you today, like, how has writing US CPA exam changed you as a person? Like, is there anything that you would say has helped you that you're going to take with you forever in life because you wrote this paper? Do you think, have you changed something as a person? Because, when I look at
Yes, yes.
myself, I can say clearly there are certain things that have changed in me right from the time when I cleared the paper. So, like that, what is it that you would say has changed in you because of the fact that you wrote this paper?
I think I can say that I got more confidence
Okay.
because as I shared with you earlier also, when I started my class, I wanted to move Canada, and
Okay.
therefore I wanted to have the CPA
Hmm.
degree. And now I am very confident because I know that I have the international degree and I can work anywhere with the right. And therefore, I got everything with CPA degree. I can say like.
Okay, so if I'm not wrong, that means you are on your way to settling and having a new life in Canada.
Yes,
Is
yes.
that correct?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Wish you all the best. It was wonderful to have you with us. And I think it was our pleasure to have you as a student with us because there were so many things that, we also learned as a class, having a bunch of really motivated individuals who would listen and who would do their part. And even as a faculty, I think I learned a lot by dealing with people as motivated as you. Because, even I as a student, I used to chase time a lot. I'm still not too sure of how free I could be in the examination hall. But you had absolutely reached a Zen mode. You would sit for the paper like calm, cool, and then you would just call me after the paper. Most of the times, the review was always very good. The paper went good. This was this was that. But seeing you clear these exams in the, one at a time in the 4 months period, and seeing you develop as a human being in the last 1 year, that one year 15 months that you've been with us, has been a really rewarding journey. Okay, wish you
Yes,
all
ma'am.
the best, and I really hope all your dreams come true. Your dream of moving to Canada, settling your life there, and all the other stuff that you've looked forward to with this degree. Thank
Yes,
you so
ma'am.
much. Wish
I
you all.
wanted to say something, ma'am.
Yes, yes, please.
Just I wanted to dedicate my success to Pikshalon because whatever I have achieved, that is only because of the Pikshalon. Because I was associated with CPA, I think early 2023, but that time I was not that much confidence because I did not get the right platform or the faculty. But when I came to know about the picture, I connected myself with the picture. Then I got the real sense how to approach the CPA course exam and how to deal with questions. So I can say that it is only because of the picture. Otherwise, I did
Much.
not do.
Well, like, thank you so much. And that's the reason why we are also in this. And that gives a lot of credence and that gives a lot of satisfaction for the work that we are also doing with our students. So, yeah, thank you so much. It's been
Yes,
really good.
and I would like to add something because every time you called me, you asked me, you motivated me that how was the paper. Even I can say that in one of the paper in bar paper, I got the call from your side that you did these questions or not, and then I
Yes.
referred your yes live classes because I completed my classes with you, but you again told me that you need to have the knowledge of about this share-based
Remember.
supply or everything. So therefore, I can say that my success is based on your support, your dedication to all the students, and your motivation.
Thank you so much because that is what we are here for, because our experience says that generally most of the students who drop out of the course is probably because of that human interaction that when they are in the really big soup or they're in the moment when they're not able to handle their work as well as the studies pressure at that point of time. It really makes a huge difference if you could speak to somebody and if somebody could just guide you. So I'm very glad that helped you. Wish you all the best. It was so good
Thank
knowing,
you, ma'am.
and I hope all your dreams come true.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for